And I'm so proud, honestly, of the women of my generation, female actresses, directors, and a few amazing men who have taken it upon themselves to create more opportunities for women in the industry, in front of the camera and behind the camera. And I think that's very important. I think that the more we push for women to be in positions of power, the more we'll see women in decision making, and then the more you'll see the impact, not just on women, but communities, on men, on women alike. Because women have been deprived of opportunity for such a long time, and especially positions of power, we have to work 4 times harder than men to be able to get to that position. We have to prove ourselves so much more than men to get to be able to be in a position of power. It's harder, when a woman is in charge, she's tough, there are words that are used for her which are derogatory, which when it comes to a man, we would say, wow, that's so impressive, he's so powerful. But with women, we get intimidated, and we have to change that, and that conversation needs to change. We have to normalize, wanting women in positions of power, respecting women in positions of power. I mean, we're from a country we're in India, and I think that we really have to go back and remind ourselves that, women are what make our families. We are matriarchal, as well. We believe in the power of dadis and nannies and moms, and we always go back to that. Why can't we take that outside of our homes as well, and inside of our homes? Why can't the conversation about equity, and I see it happening already. I've seen it in so many homes. In my own home, when my mother was younger, my grandmother had 4 daughters, and my grandfather was very sure that they'll all be educated and they'll all have academic jobs, and they all do, and then they've changed the lives for their daughters, and then their daughters are changing the lives for their daughters. So and the family in general. So I think it's really important to have the conversation, and I think it's very important to raise our sons respecting our daughters.
Yeah.
I've had a 22-year career, and it was crazy to think about, but one step at a time, one win at a time, and then you look back and your life is a win. I think when women are surrounded by each other and we kind of support each other, there's a magic that comes out of it, because for the longest time women were pitted against each other, right? The most beautiful girl will get the job, so we're all trying to elbow each other out, and the most beautiful girl will get the boy, so we're all trying to push each other out. Actresses can't be friends, they have cat fights, nobody talked about that with boys. Everyone was like, it's a bromance and they're friends, but no, the girls were always cat fights. And that's why I'm saying I'm so proud of my generation of women, not just in entertainment, but all of you who have created a sisterhood, who have said we're not going to perpetuate that anymore. It doesn't exist. We can be friends. We can support each other. In fact, we can do business together. We can make money together. We can create opportunities for other women together. We can be financially secure and secure other women. And it is so wonderful to be able to see that in this generation of women, because now I know that the next generation will not inherit that problem. I wish I hadn't shed as many tears as I did. I wish I hadn't beaten myself up as much as I did, because that's what we are taught to do. We're taught that, one failure is when you're young, when you're like in your teens and in your 20s, and I see a lot of young faces here, and you'll realize this when you get older, in your 30s, you'll realize it. But when you're young, you feel like one failure is the end of your life, or one breakup, or one friendship, or one fight. You feel like you can never come back from that. And I am a very intense person in general. I'm very sentimental, I'm emotional, so everything affects me. Energies affect me. If I've hurt someone, it affects me, if by deliberately or by mistake. So I think I used to really beat myself up when something went wrong, or when I didn't get an opportunity. It's my fault, I must have done something wrong. And I would like to tell my younger 19, 20-year-old self that life is all hills and valleys. It's never going to be a smooth road. You will have up, you will have down, but when it's down, you will go up. So when you're up, be prepared for a down, and it's okay. Surround yourself by people that prop you up. Surround yourself by people who are genuinely happy for you. Not all the followers, not like the people who, you think are your friends that you may party with, but the ones that pick up your phone call at 2 o'clock in the morning. The one when someone is sick in your family that will sit with you for hours overnight. Those are the ones you collect. Those are the ones you remember, and those are the ones you keep for the rest of your life. That's the biggest riches in the world. And I had that when I was 20. I just ignored it because I thought that my new life and this industry and my career was the most important thing. But family is, and the people around you are, and having a support system that makes you want to step forward every single day in this difficult ride called life, and that just makes it easier, because life is never going to be easy. It makes it easier to have the right people in your life. There's always a glass ceiling that is set up for women, and I just don't like a glass ceiling. My dad had told me this, and I know a lot of you know this because I've said this before, that glass ceilings are set for girls, for people, minorities, immigrants, whatever you want to say, women, there are glass ceilings set for everyone. I don't think she's capable of that. They're not going to do it. I don't think he can do this job because he's not confident enough. I don't think he dresses right, or I don't think she does this. People will have all kinds of opinions and all kinds of noise that will turn your personality into what they think you are. So I think, yes, age, growing, maturity, maybe motherhood, maybe the fact that, I've fought battles, I've overcome them, some I've succumbed to, and I kind of reached a place of plateau. And I think getting to that place required a journey. But I think that, being kind to yourself, which I didn't do a lot of times, which I do now very much, is crucial. And I think that's kind of what helped me, is kind of being very kind to me. I'm an ambitious girl, right? You said global domination. I want everything that's bigger and better. I want the next step to be bigger than the one I took last. I want my next movie to be bigger. I want my next part to be bigger. I just want everything to be, an upward trajectory. But there were times where I forgot to sleep, I forgot to eat, I forgot birthdays, I wasn't home for Diwali, I would work on Christmas, I was never around. And I look back, my mom used to say this, I have 11 passports, okay? I have my passports are that big. My mom used to always say, you have so many stamps on your passport, but you've never really been anywhere. I'd never seen anything. Hotel room to set to hotel. I took my first holiday almost 10 to 12 years after I started working. And now I've invested in myself. I'm trying to find things that I like outside of work. I haven't found it yet. I'm a really bad painter. I found out that though. I shouldn't have bought that easel. It didn't work out well for me. I was shooting in Silver Lake Studios in New York, and it has this beautiful billboard which is in lights, which is black and red, and I bought a black easel and I said, "Ye to easy hai, red say I just have to splash paint." It looked like watercolors. By a 2-year-old. It was so embarrassing, I didn't show it to anyone. And I decided painting was not the thing. I've tried knitting, I'm going to try pottery. I knitted a scarf. It was 9 feet tall because I don't know how to do corners. Now I take time for myself. I'll take a holiday. I spend time with my friends. I laugh a little. I don't always live in work, and I think your life being your work is absolutely untrue. I think we're told that for a very long time, that if you stop working, somebody else will get that opportunity. Don't stop working, but have a work-life balance. I think having a work-life balance is so crucial, and especially us, we're a country of so many people that we are constantly told to say that if somebody else is going to take your spot in a second. But if you invest in yourself and you're really good at what you do, and you kind of find your rhythm and your strengths, focus on that, find a work-life balance, work becomes so much better. You're inspired, you're excited, and that's how I'm being kind to myself, is just by giving myself time.